Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Technical difficulties. Welcome to the show, folks. October 19th.
Sounds pretty good now. It doesn't sound all like distorted and
Well, the 810 Mini and Tech hosed us today, but T-Texas Tony Turnstile here with my ace Dutch Chattahoochee. Thanks for tuning in.
I think we look pretty slick.
We do. To the probably zero viewers, but that doesn't stop us because so many reasons why I like doing a baseball podcast and never stopping is because I personally expand my baseball knowledge. This is self-improvement for me. I got to spend time with you. I got to talk baseball, and if even one person gets something out of it, that's good to go.
We're like we're our own students and teachers at the same time.
We're our own students and teachers. At the beginning, we do like to give a little roadmap. And then kick it.
Baseline.
We are. Let me do that. I'll just kick into some. Should I do the rag? The Dallas rag?
Do the D-Town Boogie.
Talk over that?
Yeah.
This one reminds me of Brewster's Millions. Such a great baseball movie. Doesn't get enough push. This is like the end of Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor and John Candy. Unbelievable cast. But things to talk about besides tech issues. We apologize. Super successful independent film we made. I
think we're going to win some awards by the end of the year.
Honestly, it's so bad. I think we could. So awesome. Bad as in bad as in good. But
I think Sundance is going to invite us.
We could put it in Slamfest.
Slamfest is cool. Slamfest
like San Antonio Film Festival. You can just pretty much. I mean, Danny
the syrup
won with the waffle guy, but that was awesome, hilarious.
I think the Slamfest is more about art and the creative thing, and not so much like the production value.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah,
because nobody would ever submit if you got to be Spielberg. Nobody would ever submit to Slamfest. So that was fun. If you want to check out our the deadly cycle of addiction of baseball cards, push us up over 260. I think YouTube sends us that little button that says 260 on it.
It's diamond plated gold.
I think so.
It comes with a $100,000 check.
But yeah, hopefully we're live on platforms. I don't know, and I don't know if it even went into our T's live stream, but
you know what's weird?
You found it.
When I was on YouTube, it still showed the one scheduled for 10, even though it's like 10.
There's like two scheduled for 10.
Well, I only saw one, but the fact that it's like 10:07 and it's still saying scheduled for 10 a.m. today. It showed 10:19, you know?
The only reason I'm doing that is because we're trying to learn all the tools in that TubeBuddy and vidIQ and some other videos we watched were if you schedule it, then YouTube will push it.
Yeah.
If you don't schedule it, then you just appear, and YouTube wasn't doing anything to get whatever the F impressions are. I haven't used my 2 cuss words yet that I like. You can cuss as much as you want. I got to limit myself because I go down the trail. I can turn one F into about 50 of them.
So before you joined the service, were you a cusser, or did the service?
Yeah, my dad cussed so bad. So he was a lot of profanity learned at home, but then the Marine Corps is a great place for profanity.
Okay, so you were already a cusser before you went in there.
Yeah, a lot of creative cussing, probably in all the military, but certainly at Marine infantry.
I cuss more than anybody I know.
What's that?
I cuss more than anybody I know. Nobody in my family really cut. Some people they cuss, but not like me on my level. Where it's every other word, it's fuck this, fuck that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing about it. I never really paid a whole lot of attention to it.
I never did
until I did this podcast. Because I was like, I'll just whatever.
Yeah.
You know. And then I listened to myself, and I was like, I don't know, man. That's a little bit rough. If I got to throw in that many F-bombs to talk about the universal DH, I was like, I don't want to listen to it as much. So I was like, this podcast has helped me kind of roll back a little bit. But
not me. I've gotten better at not cussing so much while we're talking, but I definitely still talk like that outside of this little podcast thing.
All right, let's roadmap it for people that have tuned in or are going to eventually tune in.
So
here's what I got on my list. Jerma Baseball. I don't know. We just came across that because we're looking at hot keywords or whatever.
Oh yeah, I
didn't even know about it. Dude's a interesting guy. I think he started as a gamer. He did some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of looked into his history. He was doing some like videographer stuff in Vegas and just grinding it out. He's a substitute teacher for a while, started making content, but he really engages with his fans, has built this huge following. But then he did this, what I'm calling a work of art, Jerma Baseball Association. Looked like a one-time deal down in, I forget the name of that field, whatever. He rented a minor league field, got the ball players, and then he got circus performers and put it all together and broadcast. And I like the broadcast element because that's what kind of makes it fun. He's like, oh my gosh, the umpire is putting himself into the game. And then they got like stats on the umpire as he's in the game. Like this is not the first time he's inserted himself into a game to hit. So there's just like tons of hilarious stuff going on in there. But the production level of what it takes to put something together like that, which is absurd. Like the entire thing was an absurdity, and it was glorious. I'm a huge fan of anybody undertaking, because that right there is, I have an idea to do something crazy. And he's not a crazy baseball guy. When you listen to him talk about it, because there's this kind of like behind the scenes where he's explaining how he put it together. He's like, I'm not really a baseball guy. I had this idea. It takes a village to put it together. And he just talks about all the work that went into that glorious piece of ridiculous art. I'm a big supporter, I gotta say. If you haven't seen it, check out Jerma Baseball Association. Have you watched much of it other than the highlight reel we were checking out the other day? Because I rabbit holed on it for like a couple hours.
No, because what we saw, I wasn't really a fan. I thought it was too goofy.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Just my personal opinion, I feel like it was too childish for me to actually enjoy. The humor was just like, it wasn't there for me. But that's just my opinion.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
I think the event, like I said, was cool, and what he did was awesome. But me personally, I wouldn't watch it from my point of view.
Here's what I'm thinking about it. So like Savannah Bananas, right?
See,
what
those guys are
do you think
cool.
about the Savannah Bananas? Do you think those guys are cool?
Yeah, I like Savannah Bananas.
So Savannah Bananas, to me, I'm not maybe the biggest fan in the entire world, because I mean, it's okay. So like TCL baseball, right? Those dudes are going out and they're playing. Yeah. They're like playing the game, playing like the baseball game every time. There's not like this showmanship aspect to like coming out or whatever, or like somersault and then pitching and all that crazy stuff they're doing, right? So they're taking what I believe to be like a legitimate collegiate baseball league and like, no, dude, we're here for entertainment. Like this, because baseball is entertainment, but again, like from the player's perspective, it's a sport. So you got to do like it's pretty cool stuff. I do like watching it, but then it looks to me like Savannah Banana Ball, and that's awesome. Get more eyes on baseball. So they're doing a good thing. Like I'm not like anti-Savannah, but my one thing is it was like, I think it's probably affecting gameplay, right? Like if you went down to, it's like, well, like I guess if you're keeping track of stats or something for this, like, well, you know, that game we did a lot of wacky stuff and I was only like 3 for 4 because I was like hitting while doing the splits. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like affects. It's supposed to be collegiate league baseball, and then you're hitting while doing the splits. So like even if you only like take a pitch, but like maybe that's a pitch you would have hit. So it kind of, there's the antics in Savannah Ball is awesome. Get more eyes on baseball. That's great. But I feel like it's somewhere between circus and baseball.
So you're saying you like the fact that German baseball is meant to be, so that's the point. But
like Jerma Baseball was supposed to be an artistic expression. It was never.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? It was never supposed to be baseball. It's like, how ridiculous can we take this event? It's like, it's like. I mean, there's books about baseball. Dudes make paintings about baseball. There's poetry. There's all these like aspects. You know, Max Patkin was like the baseball clown. And there's many layers to it. So this was, in my mind, it's like maybe like some famous like New York photographer, because baseball keeps track of anything baseball. So like some New York photographers like just does like a bunch of nude models rolling in baseballs. Like, well, that's not really baseball related, but that dude made that, and that's now kind of like known by baseball people. So Jerma Baseball Association was never really about baseball, other than it was like a crazy idea that took flight. I thought it was hilarious, the stuff that I saw. And it's baseball related, but you can't really call it baseball. It's It's as if Monty Python did something to just make an insane sketch. So that's my take on it. That's my take on Jerma. I'm saying check it out and then form your own opinions. Right?
Talking about me?
Yeah, I'm just saying check it out and form your own opinions. Because you're in the camp where like nah, not my bag, baby.
But the thing is, based off the promo, like it does not draw me in to watch more.
Oh my gosh.
Like I just think like I said, people out in the outfield riding on what do you call it? Unicycles? It's just
unicycles, guy on a ball, circus performers.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
The umpire putting himself into the game.
I will say the mascots fighting was funny.
Mascots fighting. They're doing the rolling up the middle finger.
Yeah,
that's classic.
But the antics of the everything else was like, I don't know. I feel like it was too family friendly for me. We had, like I said, we have difference of opinion.
I don't know how family friendly that was, but the
well, not that, but like some of the other stuff.
I guess I also liked the insane baseball announcing that kept taking it seriously when it was so obviously absurd. You have these announcers trying to call the game. So that was cracking me up. And then the guy, Jerma himself, is the umpire, right? He has this name like Elberson. Yeah, so he's the umpire. And then I watched, I don't know how, like, I watched so much of, there's a point in the game where he puts himself into the game and he's like hitting and then like calling strikes and balls and out and safe as he's running the bases. So like he runs to third and like calls himself safe. It's hilarious. So the fact that he's, playing and adjudicating the game, I appreciate that. That level of absurdity. So I don't know. If you're looking for a random baseball rabbit hole, I'm just saying check that one out.
I'm going to guess based off like the popularity that it's kind of getting, he'll probably do it again, I would assume.
I don't know. I feel like it was artistic expression, and I don't know. He's done some weird stuff because I kind of like I didn't know about him, so I started like, what has he done before?
Yeah.
He's done all kinds of different things, and if he does it again, I think with more promo, a lot of people would come out to see it. Maybe. I mean,
I would think so.
I would go because it was crazy, but. I mean, the game doesn't really transpire the way a baseball game should. You're just watching. But I don't know what other absurdities you could, like you've already done. Like if you did a second one, I would expect then at some point for the umpire to put themselves in the game. So it's just like the fact that it happened once and all that crazy things happened on the field, maybe you lose the element of comedic surprise.
Oh, like shock value.
Yeah, if you just do it like once a year and it's kind of the same gag. So I think it might have just like one time artistic expression. It's a masterpiece.
He's doing. If that's the case, that's the right way to do it. Just do it once and don't water it down.
Yeah.
Just one time. It's like one time only. It's like.
If I was gonna tell anybody, it's like what somebody did is somebody painted like a Monty Python level piece of comedic art that was baseball related. That's what I think.
It was quite the what do you call it, the variation of cast.
Yeah,
and
so
antics and shit, but
other
like I said, mad props for the guy putting together.
Oh yeah, that in and of itself, I can totally appreciate the labors. But yeah, so Jerma Baseball. I want to talk Curse of the Colonel, Hanshin Tigers, NPB. Hanshin Tigers, MLB playoffs. I have some thoughts, even though I hate MLB for instituting the universal DH. I was watching Facing Nolan, awesome documentary on Netflix.
Nolan Ryan?
Yep.
Okay.
We can talk about independent filmmaking in our minor sketch. We can talk about Do You Want to Rock a Baby as you round the bases in the playoffs
the Guardians,
when you're still down and the series isn't over.
The Guardians messed up doing that. Like, because wasn't it Aaron Judge that when they hit the hit, right?
No, it was this dude Naylor for the Indians.
No, I'm talking about the Yankees, the guy that like, it was Aaron Judge that, like, okay, when they were making fun of the Yankees, wasn't it Judge that hit that home run? and then mocked him?
No,
I could have swore they mocked him
it
back.
was Garrett Cole was pitching. An Indian dude hit the ball.
Well, no, I
named
know.
Naylor.
Well, I know that, but whenever the Yankees won, they didn't taunt him back or nothing.
Oh, the Yankees did taunt him
That's
back,
what I was
but I
talking
thought it was a
about.
middle infielder taunted him back.
Probably. Okay, I thought it was Aaron Judge.
I don't think it was Aaron Judge.
But yeah, it was stupid to do that taunt. Like, these are the Yankees. I wouldn't do it.
It was a pretty, like, I mean, dudes are pimping home runs
Yeah.
to the nth degree these days.
I think it's
just
cool.
standing there throwing bats, Jose Batista style, or just standing in the box until it clears. Like, dudes are doing stuff that would just have Bob Gibson like put you in the hospital for. And that's just kind of like accepted now. But then dudes are upping it, like rocking the baby as you're going around. I was like, all right, bro, like you're gonna pay for that. Like, you think that's just gonna slide? Antics around the base, and this is exactly what happened. You didn't win this series, so
Like,
I don't
to
know.
me, I think it's cool, like, but not taunting, but not like to the other team, but to yourself. Like, if you hit a home run, you're like, yeah, or something. But if you taunt the other team, that's different, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you're just asking for trouble.
I'm calling it right now.
What's that?
We are like this close to dudes like doing somersaults and like handstands going around the bases. We're this close.
Well, some people already do backflips and stuff when they cross home plate.
Are they doing backflips at home plate?
I've seen athletes do backflips.
I mean, Ozzie Smith could do a backflip going out to his position. Now you got like the pimp step, stutter step going around third. You got rocking the baby. We're this close to just like doing somersaults.
And now they have
and like then you just roll and then your butt hits second base and then you stand up and jog and then do another we're close.
They have that other taunt too, where people they're eating something like "feed me more." That's another thing people are doing now. Have you seen that?
I've seen that
Yeah.
forever. The first time maybe that really gained consciousness to me was Ezekiel Elliott at Ohio State, and he does it all the time.
A lot of people do it in the pros now too.
But
I think it's funny.
Feed me.
But what's funny to me is like when the team's down by like 4 touchdowns, they're like, "Yeah, feed me more." Like, dude, you're gonna lose. But that's cool if you want to express yourself.
Yeah, I mean, old guys hating on the new vibe. I mean, it was different things in different times. So I appreciate the fun of it all.
I mean, I'm one to talk. I talk a lot of shit, so I'm one to.
Everybody's different. There's some guys that are superstars. They just go in the end zone, hand the ball to the ref, and like that's kind of memorable because you just. And then there's other dudes doing like the Terrell Owens, mime dance. So it's different for everybody. But the rock the baby, that came back and bit him. Kind of felt that it would, given when he did it. If that was like bottom of the ninth and he was putting him away, yeah. But at that stage,
I mean, I get it though. He was stoked.
Felt like you jinxed yourself on that one. But last but not least, I do want to talk about Eddie Waitkus. Eddie Waitkus, Lithuanian, by the way.
Oh, never heard of the guy.
Eddie Waitkus was an awesome player for the Cubs and Phillies, but he got shot in Chicago. We were talking about that.
Oh yeah, that guy. Okay. I
He
remember
got
now.
shot in the abdomen or torso by a crazy young lady, and it formed the basis.
The movie, right?
Well, initially it was
Natural?
a book.
Okay, the book.
Author by the name of Bernard Malmud wrote the book, and that's another conversation. But that's my roadmap. That's the stuff we're going to talk about, and then I know you've got your roadmap, so I'll let you go, and I'll shut the F up and drink a little bit of my drink and wet the whistle. What do you got on tap there, Dutch?
Well, because I'm more knowledgeable in music than versus baseball, I just want to talk about 2 things really, honestly. The extreme pre-sale prices for this Blink-182 tour they're doing next year and how high price it is. So basically there was I forgot what it's called, but it's called something pricing, and they just made the tickets really, really expensive. And the band agreed into this pricing. So they're like, "Oh, it's not our fault, but it is." And then the other thing I want to talk about is just older punks that still are bitching about stuff, but those are my 2 things.
Older punk rockers that are still complaining about younger punk rockers?
Well, the thing is because I had to delete this guy on Facebook because he was always bitching about stuff all the time.
You should tag him in this video so he can see your displeasure.
He's not gonna watch it. He never really responded to me anyway. Because okay, this is my legit opinion. It's not humorous. This is how I really feel. I feel in terms of the Ramones, CJ Ramone was a way better bass player than Dee Dee, and people get pissed all the time. I mean, how dare you say that? And like, I understand Didi was a great writer. He wrote a lot of the songs for the band, and he was like the original bass player. But CJ was a better singer and a better player. And
these are the kind of musical opinions that I love because people get fired up, just like all the back and forth with like the Astros, Yankees fans. People just get into it,
and it's like, and people are like, "How dare you?" Like, no, it's okay to like, you know what I'm saying? Didi was not that fucking impressive, and I'm already getting fired up.
See how like I'm watching it. I'm watching you get fired up, which is why I want to give some fuel to that, and I also want to give fuel to. All the Astros Yankee hate is going to flare up so great.
Yeah.
I just really want to fire that up.
And not only that, not just that opinion, but like how like older people, not everyone's like this, but there's still people that exist where like the music's terrible these days, things like this. And then this guy was going off about, oh, I'm glad I had long hair, I had long dreads in the 90s. I'm like, dude, in the 90s, every punk band had at least one member with dreads in their band. Yeah. So you saying you are unique because you had dreadlocks? No, it's not the case. Because every punk band in the 90s had at least one member with dreads. So you're not different, And they just talk mess about the way the music has changed as far as, like, style. Like, pop punk is not what it used to be, and that's cool. It's different now, but, like, it's still cool. And, like, all these bands are terrible. And my friend and I, Alex, were talking about this. The guy only listens to one style of music, so you really can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, how dare you say music sucks? Like, he goes, it's terrible. Like, it's not. It's okay.
We'll have to take that guy down a notch.
But, like, you know what I'm saying?
Dreads also aren't that hygienic. I don't recommend them.
No, it's not. And people, to keep their hair, like, wet, they use olive oil, and that stuff stinks.
That's not,
but,
I don't
like,
recommend it.
This guy was just always, every time a new band would come out, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible. It's like musical styles change. Hip-hop's not the same what it was when it first came out.
Be positive. Be a positive person.
Yes, there are some bands that suck, but, like, music genres are always going to change. And you know what I'm saying?
We'll save the explosion on this guy because I want to get his name and really have you run him down.
He's never going to hear this, so I'll shout his name out. I don't really care.
Okay. And then so you're going to talk to that guy? And what else was on your segments there?
The pre-sale tickets for this tour that Blink-182 is doing next year. It's like our world tour.
Who's doing it?
Blink-182.
Oh, right, because they're all back together.
Well, they've been a band, which this is what irritates me. People think because Tom came back that this is like the first time they've been a band in a while. Like, no, they've been a band
forever.
Because they had a guy named Matt Skiba play for them for the last, like, 5-6 years, something like that.
Because they technically had two frontmen, so you don't really stop singing just because one of the guys.
Yeah, so like whenever because Tom is like, he's cool, but he has this company called To the Stars.
Yes.
And he does like a lot of research for like space and aliens and stuff, which is cool. But he's also known for his company being in debt, right?
His alien company?
Yeah. He's known for
how does an alien company go in debt? That's
and
my
so
question.
like we're all so not everyone, but some people, including myself, are like, he's probably in debt, so he's coming back and like doing this tour to get some money, like he always does. And then whenever he gets his money and he's out of debt, he's gonna leave
back
again.
to the alien
but
stuff.
He always does that. And so some guy was like, okay,
I love his business cycle.
No, he's cool, but like it's we people know it's gonna happen like that.
Hey, dude, that's awesome. Like if you got to come back, tour for a year, make bank, go back to researching UFOs and aliens, I fully support that.
No, it's cool, but like don't hype it up as if you're like gonna stay with a band. Like, oh, we're back. No, you're gonna leave in a year.
You're gonna get more people involved like me if you just like alien money tour.
See, if he was just like honest with it, like okay, he's
alien money tour.
So someone did some like research, and based on how many shows there are, and like on average, like a medium price, like an average price, they're gonna make over $1 billion on this upcoming tour next year.
$1 billion?
Yeah. And we'll get into that why when you look at when I talk about ticket prices.
Buy ETH. Buy some Bitcoin and ETH.
I mean, like I said, Tom's cool, and I like Tom. He's like my favorite Blink-182 member, but he's known for being like having an ego at times.
All right. A few last orders of business, and then we'll fully jump into segments. But I love how pumped you are about these. We have a 2-hour time limit. We've got a family doctor's appointment that's related to making children at noon, so I'm going to bounce out. We got to cram it all in before then, and I can go for way long on a bunch of stuff. Shout out to Mi Corazon, Jimmy Campbell. Seguin River Monsters got a new head coach. We did that. We got the Addiction to Baseball Cards film.
Seguin definitely got professional this year with that coach.
That dude's awesome.
Yeah.
Mozart Group, chosen charity. If you want to throw some at them, they're doing some good things in Ukraine. and is kicking some Russian butt over there. Nothing against the Russian populace or Russian people who are just kind of caught in the midst of their insane leadership. Same problem you got in Iran. Iranians are awesome. Their leadership is not maybe the best. Maybe a little bit of the problem we have in America sometimes, but the people are great. So books for today, Finally, by Jay Daniel. It's a cool book on the Phillies winning the World Series in '80, and Only the Ball Was White. Is a cool book on the Negro Leagues. Also, I think it's like on the Saber recommended reading. Do you have on that shirt, which is awesome, Atomic Treehouse?
Oh, so this is my friend's band in Florida. They're from Florida, and this one says it's like Atomic Treehouse, the band.
Yep.
And on the bottom of the shirt it says that's Florida. It has a gator and it has like a
orange.
An orange, yeah.
Also, do you want to tease your upcoming album?
Oh, the Dutch Chattahoochee Never Snows in Florida. All right, so there's a band I used to listen to in high school called Newfound Glory, and they have a song called "It Never Snows in Florida." It's out their first record.
Oh man, I thought that was original Dutch Chattahoochee.
No,
okay.
I stole that line from their song title.
Stole the line, okay.
But hey, my rap album's coming out in 2024. It Never Snows in Florida. You know,
end of 2024, so it might roll to 25.
Yeah. Like I said, you're gonna have a special guest spot on there in a couple songs. You're a beat maker. I've heard your beats are amazing. So my raps are just gonna flow out easy. I don't want to tease any lyrics right now because
don't do that.
I don't want to overhype it.
People a taste.
And then because I overhype it, people they can't take it. Waiting on it, yeah. But it's coming out on 3BGB Records. It's gonna be our first record. So I'm excited because like I have like half the songs already written. I just had to perform them. You know, I had to get in the booth, turn on my mic, kind of thing.
I love it. Well, I'm excited about it. The cover art's phenomenal. If I had my ish together, I could bring up the cover art.
I think like this is really gonna like show people that oh shit, they're not just about podcasts and videos. They can dabble in music.
Yeah, many more feature films to come. All right, well, let's talk a couple of things. Let's just give the sports fans a taste of playoff talk. We'll talk the Rock the Baby. We'll talk Astros, Yankees, Phillies, San Diego. Make some postseason predictions. Then we'll talk a little bit about the Japanese League, and that will roll into the Curse of the Colonel. And then we'll roll back over to you so you can take this punk down a notch. He thinks he's so special with his punk takes.
And he's like I don't know how old he is. I think he's like 50 something or something. He's older. I'm not attacking his character. I'm not attacking him as
his character.
As a person. I guess I am attacking his character then, but I'm not trying to say anything bad about him as a person. Like I don't hate him. I think his opinions are outdated. But anyway, yeah.
So here's my take on MLB playoffs. This is where I could be wrong because I mean I'm not like an Astros fan, but I kind of like root Texas stuff. So few takes on the playoffs. I have no take other than I'm willing to wager money. I don't know how much, but not a small amount, that the National League will win the World Series this year. I'm not picking a team, and this is where I get into trouble. I have a huge karmic bone to pick when you start pulling people out of the game when they're throwing no-hitters. And Luis Severino had a no-no, I think, in Texas through 7 innings, and then Boone pulled him. Severino didn't like it because, obviously, he wants to throw a Major League no-hitter. You got 2 more innings to go. You're dealing, and he's just like, no, dude, you don't take me out when I'm throwing a flipping no-no. And I don't really know what his pitch count was, but I'm with Severino on that. So I was like, karmically, you don't deserve it. Then the Dodgers got eliminated for a number of reasons, but mine were that the baseball gods smited them. The baseball gods came down and said, you have Clayton Kershaw, legend, guy's going in the Hall of Fame. And he was throwing, not a no-hitter, a perfect game. No hits, no walks, no errors. This is a thing of beauty. It's even more rare. And then I understand he had arm problems, and he had, I think he had a surgery or whatever, but his pitch count was crazy low. And we talked about this when it happened.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, I understand the surgery. I'm not trying to blow arms, and there's this advanced mindset where everybody's, I'm old school, but I'm just saying that dude's a veteran. He knows how he feels. I think the situation there is where you say, Kershaw, what do you want to do? This is like the last couple years of your career, man. This is a perfect game. How do you feel?
Well, as they say about veterans who's been on team forever, you've earned it to like.
He's earned the right.
Yeah.
Like if he's like the next prospect, he's the future of your franchise, and you need him for 5 more years. But this is Clayton Kershaw throwing a perfect game. Yeah, it's early in the season, but his pitch count's low. You just say, hey man, we want to limit it, but he's like, dude, I can go. I want to go.
His career's definitely winding down.
Just doesn't come home. But the point is like you care more about this arbitrary number that you wrote on a piece of paper that says can't go over this rather than baseball glory. And guess what? If you don't want baseball glory, baseball gods aren't going to give it to you, and that's why you're out of the playoffs.
Do you think there's some thinking about like, oh, this isn't an individual sport; it's a team sport. We're not here to get you records. We're here to get the team wins. Something like that. You think maybe? I think there's some of that goes into play.
I get that. And I totally agree with that, but it's kind of an interesting point. And when you watch the Facing Nolan, if you can check that out on Netflix, it's kind of a team thing when they pull together and do something like, especially a perfect game, because Terry Pohl made a really good catch in Nolan Ryan's 5th no-hitter. He was really proud of that. He keeps the video on his phone. He's like, I'm not that good of a fielder, and I made that catch, man. I was like, I'm gonna keep this no going. So it's really a team thing to have a perfect game, and dudes will remember that. They'll be like, dude, I was on the field when Kershaw threw that perfect game, but you pulled him, and it wasn't a perfect game. So none of those dudes get to take part in that piece of history.
Because nobody on the team would have got upset if he would have finished the game by himself. No one would have cared.
No, they'd have been diving after balls. They'd been going crazy. It's something like that is so cool.
Nobody would have said, "Oh, that's not fair. I wanted to play." He's.
I don't know. It is an individual achievement. You'd be remembered for it, but it's just a cool baseball thing, and it's just baseball's kind of gotten into things we don't really care about that. We care about metrics, and we care about stats, and stats rule supreme, not cool, glorious moments. So that's, in my opinion, the baseball gods have said, dude, you guys don't care about raising things in glory and awesomeness because it is a sport. It's gladiators in the arena. We're looking for cool stuff. I mean, it is an entertainment sport. It's a sport, and you're just like, no, dude, it's about dollars. It's about numbers. It's about metrics. If that's what it is to you, then don't try to throw perfect games or have perfect games happen. But see, then I said that, and I said, oh, that's why the Yankees are cursed. That's why the Dodgers are out. And then Steve, I think it was, from Japan, one of the dudes I follow, he's like, yeah, well, by that reasoning, then the Astros are going to be out because Verlander got pulled from 2 no-nos this year. I didn't know that, so I went back and looked, and sure enough, Verlander got pulled from a no-no he had in the 6th, and he got pulled from a no-no he had in the 5th. I don't know what Verlander's arm situation is, but I'm just saying.
That's crazy at his age, how long he's been playing, he's still able to do that.
He's still able to do that. And I don't know what his pitch count was or what it is, but it's just nobody's ever going to. It's kind of sad because, Sandy Koufax had 4, and then, Nolan Ryan, I think, has got 7 no-nos. That's never going to happen again because of pitch count. So those records are just. You want to talk about unbreakable records, forget about DiMaggio's streak. Pitch count records won't be broken.
I think, obviously, you know this too. If you have a chance to get a no-hitter, it's rare. So that's not 1 time, 2 times. It's not going to affect his arm long term. You know what I mean? If it's 1 or 2 times.
I'm the jerk that'll be keep him out there, and then he blows his elbow in the 9th, and
but you can't play like that though. You can't play like that.
I don't think you can play scared like that.
Yeah.
You're just dude, if you got it,
it's coach,
you're dealing.
Manager. This is a once. This may not happen again. It's gonna be okay if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because if there wasn't no hitter, you'd probably still keep me in anyway.
I mean, for Severino, and it's. I mean, maybe if you're Nolan and you already got 4 no hitters, you're well, what's another one? But for a guy like Severino who's never had especially a major league no-no, you want that so bad. That's so cool. Go down in history throwing a no-no, and Boone's like, nah, dude, we got to save you for the postseason. 2 innings. That could be 25 more pitches. You don't think his arm's got 25 more pitches?
Regardless of what that dude says, it's going to eat away at him forever. He's like, man, I was so close.
Yeah, that's going to.
I was so close.
I guarantee he's a 65-year-old, probably a 70-year-old man, just sitting there with his grandkids. He's like, I could have had a no-no. Could have. Got pulled.
But I feel like the way MLB's going,
pitch count.
They're going to be like, hey, Grandpa, what's MLB? What was that?
I don't know.
Was that a league? But, yeah.
So, but I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody knows if the Padres or Phillies pulled that kind of BS this year, because then my theory doesn't work that the National League is going to win the World Series because the baseball gods are going to frown upon both the Yankees and the Astros, who are a National League team, by the way, they're going to frown on both those teams because they don't care about no-nos.
Well,
And
based off
baseball
process of elimination, if that's the case, and as he said, the Yankees, right, the Astros, so like it's either the Padres or the Phillies that's going to win, yeah. And the Phillies is already up 1-0 on the Padres, so.
So yeah, I mean, and I like both the Pods and the Phils.
Yeah.
So
I'm just stoked because, like, for two reasons. One, Phillies are like a legendary franchise, so it's cool to see them make it this far because it's been a while, and plus Bryce Harper is cool.
I like Bryce Harper.
Schwarber is pretty cool.
Schwarber is awesome.
Yeah,
I love when he
great.
exploded at Angel Hernandez.
Yeah.
Horrible call.
Who hasn't exploded at the guy?
Philly's complicated, and I think that's kind of awesome because their fans get a bad rep.
See, I've always been a fan of Bryce Harper because I remember him coming out of high school and stuff. But the moment that he got me, I was like, yeah, this guy's cool. He's like, hey, that's a clown question. When the interviewer guy was asking him a stupid question, he's like, dude, that's a clown question.
I'd say Bryce Harper seems mature beyond his years. That's what I think.
For baseball terms, yeah.
Yeah.
He comes off as a douche sometimes, kind of, but he's cool. You know, he's good. He's obviously good. He's badass. He's great. So, you know, I at first I didn't know if it was going to work out when he got traded to the Phillies based off those first couple seasons, but clearly this season
it's working out because people were
Yeah.
like, I think the Nationals, whatever, won that World Series, and they were all, I think Harper wasn't on that team.
No, I think it was a year
It
after
was
he
the
got
year
traded.
before, so people were kind of
Yeah.
like, ha, you went and took all the money, and now we got the World Series ring. So I really hope he gets one in Philly. But I'm kind of leaning Pods. I really like
I got Yankees and Phillies, and then Phillies winning it.
power of the goose of San Diego. San Diego's never won a World Series, as far as I know.
Have they ever played in one?
Yeah, they played in a couple, I believe.
Like the 80s or something, 70s?
But I don't think San Diego. Somebody check me on that. And I don't know if we're getting our sound is getting out of sync or how that even looks. But
It's probably going to be out of sync. It always is. I don't know what to do.
I don't really know how to fix that.
There's not a way to, I don't think. But I know Phillies obviously won one. I was around when the Phillies won one. That one's like it was mid 2000s, I think it was.
Yeah.
Some I couldn't remember if it was mid 2000s or early 2000s. I mean early 2010s or whatever the fuck they call it. But
Yeah.
it was cool. They had Rollins, the first baseman, Howard. Didn't they have Chase Utley on that team too? No.
Utley was on Philly forever.
Yeah, he's the Phillies dude. When you think of Phillies, but
Yeah, 84 and 88, they made it to the World Series, and they lost both times.
Tony Gwynn was on that team.
I think he was on both those teams,
Yeah.
80s.
Even-
And they lost. They got their asses kicked, and that's not one of my cuss words. They lost to the Detroit Tigers 1-4. They only won one flipping game in that World Series, and they got swept by the Yankees.
What's
Ouch.
crazy is the Padres are doing this without Tatis Jr. because Tatis Jr.
Ouch.
is a cheater and he took steroids. But
I don't know. That was somebody, I don't know if it was like baseball doesn't exist or one of those like YouTube blog dudes kind of did an interesting.
I don't think it was like steroids, like steroids, like
It was like a hair thing or a barber thing or
Yeah,
something.
it was something else. But I don't know. It's tricky, I guess.
I don't know. It was weird. I watched that thing and
I don't hate him for it. If that's what you're asking.
it was a really well done documentary piece because it was like, dude, in the Dominican, like you just get that stuff at the corner store,
Yeah.
and then like they're saying it was given to me by accident. Or whatever. I don't know, dude. I mean,
I don't believe accidents, but like it. I don't look at him the same way as Barry Bonds or one of them people.
But it's awesome because now you got a KBO guy, a KBO stud playing shortstop, Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have Yu Darvish. He's a guy from Japan.
Darvish is Japanese league, and I want to say their first. No, that was Tampa Bay's. Where's your favorite guy? The Tampa Bay first baseman.
Oh, Choi?
Yeah, I think he's KBO.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure exactly what league he came from. But He-Man Choi, and I'm probably mispronouncing his first name,
Yeah,
but that's my dude right
I want to
there.
say San Diego's shortstop. That's just like a good job of international scouting.
I know, like, originally when he came over, I think they had him at a couple different positions, but, like, he's a shortstop originally, I think.
Yeah, Kim was like a Gold Glover in the KBO, which is kind of interesting if you look at like how they do the posting, like the Japanese posting system and then like the KBO posting system. Like, you got Kim pretty young. I think he's like 26. Like, Japan, you got to be like there for like 9 years till you're a free agent. So I think they just came at him and posted him or whatever, and they're like, Pod's got their hands on him.
I was watching the post-game interview when they won the series against the Dodgers, and they were doing like this post-game interview with the guy. The guy's like super chill and quiet. He's just like, he had his translator there obviously, but he's like super quiet and calm.
Okay.
Like, that's cool as fuck.
Now I'm gonna get controversial.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna probably have to redo the description and bring this.
Do I need to leave the room? Do I need to leave the room?
If you don't want to be associated with this, because I'm gonna bring down the entire Yankee Nation in the city of New York upon us.
Dude, I'm gonna get offended. I want to leave. No, I'm just kidding.
It's so the Astros cheating scandal, well documented. Can't say they didn't. People were banging on trash cans. Don't know which players used it, which players didn't. You can form your own opinions.
The only people allowed to bang on trash cans is that band from Doug, but whatever. That's a different point.
Is what it is. They got reprimanded by Major League Baseball. There have been other instances. I forgot the Red Sox got in trouble for something with smartwatches. I don't know how the F.
Yeah,
I don't even know how the F that would work.
Weren't they eating fried chicken too in the dugout? Yeah. Fried chicken.
But
does not go.
And then I think the Yankees got in trouble for something too. But everybody likes to bring that up, and like for this series in particular, right, the Altuve home run off of Aroldis Chapman was like, that was a given pitch, and he had like a buzzer, and that's why he can rip his shirt off. And when everybody's got their own opinions on that. I'll say this: I like Altuve a lot. And I don't know. There's nobody, only he knows, right? So we know Astros were doing some shady stuff, and which players used it, which players didn't, and they were raking, especially at home. And you got like well-documented trash can bangs, and then dudes ripping the next pitch. And sometimes they were like doing it at games and like didn't matter. I was like, dude, you're gonna win that game anyway. Like, you're awesome. So it's a bad look, but you're gonna like. And it's just like the Brady Deflategate or whatever. Like, people just like make up their minds like they're just cheaters forever, and they don't care. And they're just like, but I like Altuve. Altuve came from nothing in Venezuela and busted his ass. He's an undersized guy, probably overlooked forever, and he busted his ass and got there. They got a good baseball player, because obviously if they got caught cheating, they haven't been cheating for a number of years. The dude's a player. The guy just barrels the ball. But here's the one that's going to piss everybody off. There's like documented history of like most Major League Baseball teams like having some level of cheating. Like Bobby Thompson's shot hit around the world by the New York Giants was like, I think in baseball history, there's a lot of people's like, dude, that was a given pitch. They had to do with binoculars at the Polo Grounds, and they knew what was coming. And you just kind of accepted that if you're the other team. So there's like a lot surrounding that. And I want to say it was either Billy Martin's autobiography. It could have been Whitey Herzog's. Not Whitey Herzog's, but Whitey Ford's. I've read a lot of baseball autobiographies. And, Yankees, you had dudes in the outfield with binos giving pitches to Mickey Mantle. Like, that's...
Don't bring Mickey Mantle into this. No.
And, I don't know. The way I remember reading it, and it's... I think they even kind of like qualify, like whose ever bio it was in, they were like, they didn't really want to say whether it happened in the playoffs or not, but it definitely happened in the regular season, just like the Astros did in the regular season. They probably did in the postseason too. So if the Astros did in the postseason or in the regular season, and also doing it in the postseason. If you're tipping pitches to Mickey Mantle, who's jacking dingers, you telling me you're just going to all of a sudden stop doing that in the Yankee postseason? I don't know. The minds may differ, but...
We have some bots in the chat that are fucking bots. They're like...
German porn bots?
Yeah.
Them German porn bots.
I'm just going to leave it there.
Just leave them there. If people want to watch German smut, that's their decision.
They're like, best adult dating site, heart. Best adult dating site, but there's no link. What if someone comes in here and they want to see?
Are they not? They're not German porn bots.
They're bots.
Oh, but they're not in German.
No, it just says bet adult. Yeah.
I posted our stuff on like a German Reddit for film. Got some German viewers, but
anyway.
But the story goes, there's a dude in Yankee Stadium who had binoculars, and he could see into the catcher's pocket between his legs.
In the Polo Grounds? Wait,
No, this is Yankee Stadium.
Okay. I was like,
Well, I think they're picking signs at the Polo Grounds too, and
that's Chicago, right?
Polo Grounds was the old New York Giants.
Okay, why was I thinking Chicago? I don't know. Anyway,
who knows? I mean, I would say that Chicago is ideal for picking signs because you got those buildings out there. Who knows what sort of high grade optics?
Oh, the Cubs.
Yeah,
Cubs
right.
Yeah.
I would say that's prime for whether they do it or not, But this was a bio of a Yankee, and I can't remember who, so I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but I didn't dream it up. There's a dude, it's either Billy Martins or Whitey Ford, I can't remember. I probably read a Mantle bio at once, but what it was I think it was Billy Martin's autobiography, because he was saying he didn't use the guy who was tipping pitches. He's like, I didn't like to know what was coming because it just messed me up. You know, like I would have to I wanted to have an at-bat like a normal at-bat without knowing. But the dude out there with the binos had super white tennis shoes, and he would put 1 foot up on the rail for fastball, and then he would put 2 feet up on the rail for curveball. And you could see these big white tennis shoes out in the outfield and know what was coming. So, Yankees fans, you can dump on the Stros all you want, and this is a grudge match, but I don't really have a lot of love for any Major League Baseball organization that's holier than thou, because you might want to look through your history of spitballs and tipping pitches, and there's been a lot of things have happened for a lot of different organizations.
And not to that extent that the Astros pulled.
I mean, yeah, well, the technology piece was disgusting. Like, seriously, you're using, like, cameras, and that's, like, feeding it back to a dude right up the hallway with a flipping laptop. I mean, and it's even worse. Because you'll see dudes on second base like tipping location. Some of them are doing really obvious stuff. So I don't know why you're so obvious as banging on a trash can. Because like people will tip pitches, like the tennis shoe thing in Yankee Stadium. That's not that obvious unless you know. I think it's a busy day. I mean, there's fans out there. You got to know which fan to look at to see which tennis shoes. You know, if you're Mickey Mantle. So, I don't know what to tell you. But, I mean, Cleveland, I don't know who I was talking to, but Cleveland had, these craftsmen. Somebody, and again, this is hearsay. The way I remember hearing it, there's like some wood craftsman in Cleveland was like famous for being like the best dude at corking bats. And then Albert Bell got caught. He was jacking dingers, but one of his bats they found, like they confiscated it, and the bat got stolen out of the umpire's locker room. All kinds of crazy stuff.
You know what's weird about this whole cheating, different types of things?
Wasn't Craig Nettles with the Yankees when his bat got busted open, he had cork in it? I mean, what you gonna do?
Which is weird. So, which is weird to me about this whole cheating thing is, like, steroids I can't stand. I think, they're cheating. I can't stand cheating like the Astros did. But cork bats, I have no problem with.
Cork bats?
Because I feel like you still have to, hit it. You're not taking performance enhancers or anything. It's just the bat. But I get it, which is weird, right, that I don't have a problem with that.
That's interesting, yeah. Because I kind of view them as the same because it's a cheat.
Well,
in the sense that where you make contact, but what would have been a fly ball, like for Mark McGwire, like that what gets caught on the warning track, you're so jacked, it goes another 30 feet, now it's a homer.
Yeah, but I've never had a problem with
corked bat.
No, never
fly
had
ball, no homer. So interesting.
It's just something that never got to me. Like, okay, cool, whatever, but everything else does. I was just thinking about that right now.
So any Yankee fans, the holier than thou isn't really going to work with me. Yeah, recent memory, Astros look bad, but this thing's going to be played on the level. Everybody's watching.
It's going to be a good series for sure. Like,
and tipping pitches isn't cheating, by the way. If you're a runner and you can get something or you can pick signs, that's been going on since the beginning of time. I'm saying with the runners, not technology. I'm saying like if somebody on your team can decipher the signals that are being given, they're smart enough to figure out what you're relaying just with their own brain and then give that information by scratching their chin, or if I touch the side of my face, it's on the outside, or if I wiggle my fingers, whatever you're doing on the
if you're trying to bend the brim of your cap.
Yeah, we would if you're leading off, you can kind of dangle this arm, or now you're going to dangle this arm, or you're going to put your hand on this thigh. You could do unobvious. Like the Braves were doing this really obvious, if the pitch is high, let me adjust my helmet a whole bunch. So you don't have to be super obvious about it, but like the tipping of pitches and trying to decipher the other team's sign is part of baseball. That's not even cheating. That's just straight up part of baseball.
And I'm calling now. There's going to be at least one brawl in this series.
I hope so.
I feel it coming. Benches cleared kind of thing.
I think so. I think you got to plunk a couple people and get after it.
Because like
there's bad blood.
Yeah.
It's a good series to watch for bad blood.
I'm ready for. I don't know what's going to happen. I just hope it's not a star.
There'll be fights in the stands.
I would. Something's going to go down.
Something
for
will
sure.
happen.
I feel it. Someone's going to get suspended. You know what I mean?
I got a buddy who's a Houston fan in New York.
Yeah, I know. I know a guy here.
He'll be going to Yankee Stadium.
Like
Hopefully, I don't know if he's going to go in all his regalia, but anyway.
I know an Astros fan here.
I'm rooting. I don't really have a dog in the fight. You know, I'm saying National League. I'm kind of rooting for the Pods because the goose that landed on the field. Did you see the goose?
No.
You're not familiar with the goose? This is one of the greatest things ever. I think I can do like image capture in OBS if I can pull it up. Let's do the San Diego. This is one of those things that, so this landed on the field. This landed on the field during the Dodger game, and since that goose landed on the field, like the Dodgers never led in the series. San Diego goose.
So I was texting this guy that's an Astros fan when they were playing the Mariners. I was like, man, Altuve's not looking too hot. I was like, yeah, we're winning. So what? I was like, shit, you're right.
Where is the goose? Here's the best image I can find of the goose. Open image, a new one. I don't really know. Open image, a new tab. I don't know if that's gonna actually work. But can visit that link. Maybe go like that. Is that the goose?
When did this
Wild
happen?
Goose Game 2 of the NLDS.
Oh, this year?
Yeah. So yeah, if I can go to OBS maybe and go half screen like this. I can go. Well,
Oh, you're trying to pin it on the side.
Well, I'm trying to bring it up so you can see it. I don't know. Can you see that goose right there on my thing? Just lean on over and see it. People have already seen the goose.
Oh yeah, I can see where I'm sitting.
See that little goose right there?
Yeah.
He landed on the field. Now he's famous. San Diego puts him on the jumbotron. Look at that goose right there.
I hope he has a check coming his way.
He's famous. There
Yeah,
we go.
He can move
I'm
house.
just gonna put the. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, display capture. I want to do window capture. Let's go here. I don't do that. Is that one? Does that show the goose? There it is. It's right over my face.
The
Put
goose.
it right between us.
The goose is loose.
Now let's see what that looks like in Restream.
That goose. That goose.
How are we doing on time? 10:57?
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
Oh, no. Let's go back to the goose then. There's the goose.
That goose is loose.
I don't know where that goose is.
But
There's that goose. I'm just going to leave that goose there for a while because I feel him. I feel what he's doing. He got a good look at a baseball game for free. I don't know if he was injured. People want to know what happened to the goose.
some people say a nice flock of geese is pretty mean.
Yeah, they are pretty mean.
This guy looks pissed. He's like, don't you dare touch me.
He kind of like landed, then they tried to get him. Then he like flew and landed in another spot, and then they went out and did like the towel over you, and then they kind of toweled him, and then they stuffed him face first into like a big plastic trash can, and then they ran off with a trash can. I was like, can't that thing just shake off the towel and fly off? Everybody's like, what happened to the goose? Are you taking care of the goose?
The goose is held hostage.
I don't know. But I don't know.
Gone.
San Diego or Philly wins it. I'm calling it unless they pulled the pitcher out of no hitter this year, and I don't know if they did that. So as long as they didn't, the National League will win.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Phillies, Yankees, and then I think the Phillies are gonna take it.
And if the Yankees fans think the Yankees have never cheated, then I mean, there's crack pipes and there's cracks holding the corners. Keep smoking that.
Did they have Roger Clemens? He was known to be a cheater too.
Oh yeah, Clemens was on roids. He's on the Yanks. They won
I'm sorry,
they won some series.
But I cannot stand Roger Clemens. I just cannot stand that guy.
A lot of people don't like him. Ambivalent. He's a Texas legend. I'll tell you that. Much like Nolan, but you know.
I know he's
what you gonna do?
A big UT guy, but
UT legend.
You know what?
I think they won the College World Series when he was there too.
He'll never be better than Street. I'm saying.
Houston Street.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy was awesome.
He was a great closer. Yeah.
Texas got such good baseball. But I mean, I'm an ass kiss. I don't like to get sideways with anybody, but I do want to get sideways with this Punk guy. Let's have you name him, and then I'm gonna use one of my cuss words. I want you because we're getting so fired up at the beginning of the show.
So
let me preface this for people who's like, "What's 3BGB about, dude?" We talk plenty of music on this, and Dutch, besides being an avid baseball fan, is an awesome musician and does all kinds of stuff and has a lot of strong music opinions that I love to hear, especially when he gets pissed. So
music is definitely my forte, as they say.
Let me use one of my cuss words.
Go for it.
I get 2. I give myself 2, and I break that rule all the time.
It's okay to break rules sometimes.
Dutch Chattahoochee is about to shit all over.
I would say.
I like the way I said that too. I nailed that.
I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
It's a great intro into the discussion.
All over some YouTube personality who claims.
Oh, he's not a YouTuber guy.
What is he?
He's just some dude that's like in the music scene that I know. Like he knows a lot of people I know.
Oh, he thinks he's just.
Yeah.
He's just.
He's old. Okay. This older punk guy.
Okay.
And there's a lot of problems I had with this dude. That's why I took him off Facebook. I couldn't stand this guy.
Losing Facebook friends on this. Let's get into it.
All right.
What was his number? Let's get like a few opinions on that we can dump on.
All right. So I'm not gonna list his last name, but his first name is Ralph. All right.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought it was a YouTube guy. You don't have to name any names then.
No, he's some guy on Facebook that's part of the, I guess, quote unquote scene that like a lot of us are part of. We listen to the same bands. We know like similar people. He's
the
from
San Antonio punk scene.
No, he's from like New Jersey or something.
Oh.
But he's way older. I think he's like 50 something. He's an older punk, and at one point, so here's what pisses me off. He's always like talking shit about like how like punk and stuff is a fashion, and like how a lot of newer bands, that's kind of like their selling point is fashion sometimes.
Yeah.
And here's why I have a problem with that too. You constantly talk about your hair. Oh, I had dreads. Look at my long hair. So you're basically saying your hair is part of your personality, right? Just like with bands that are all they care about is fashion. Second, he constantly would brag about, oh, I used to be a skateboard model. A skateboard model, so that's not about fashion either at all?
That's horrible. It's a horrible thing to have been.
And so, like...
well, no. Maybe there's other skateboard models.
So how dare you say bands nowadays sell out when you were a skateboarder model? Like
that doesn't even count. How do you be like that's the ultimate poser? Don't you have to actually skate and get that picture taken as you're like doing a nollie?
But like to be a model, like a not a skater like skating.
Like he couldn't skate. He just stood on skateboards.
Well,
with
he could
clothes.
skate, but that's not what I'm getting at. Like it's not like he was taking cool photos of him grinding or something.
I could
modeling
be a skateboard
like
model.
like headshots and shit like that kind of modeling.
Oh.
So like, how dare you say like bands are about fashion?
That doesn't sound very gritty and
when you're
sweet
a
to
model, like that's fashion, right? And what pisses me off too is like when people say that about selling out and stuff, yet these punks with their fucking mohawks, like they spend an hour doing all that, and then they go buy a $200 pair of Doc Martens. You spend and you talk about fuck the man. You're buying Doc Martens. That's a famous company. So what do you mean fuck the man? That makes no sense, right?
This guy.
Does that make any sense to you?
That doesn't make any sense, but I will tell you about my favorite Mohawk.
What's that?
Glenn Plake. Do you know who Glenn Plake is?
No.
He's this awesome, one of the greatest skiers, and he would ski with this crazy Mohawk. That was kind of like back in the 80s when Mohawks were this thing, and he showed how he did it. He would, because it was fucking huge. Oh, that's my second one. I already blew it. But he would dangle upside down and put like egg yolks or like eggs to make it stand perfectly spiky straight up. Anyway,
yeah,
made me think I have to include Glenn Plake. He's a legend.
And that's my problem with a lot of punks. Is like you talk about like fashion and stuff, dude. You guys all look the fucking same. Mohawks, spiked vests, Doc Martens.
Okay, I know we talked about this great movie, Salt Lake City Punk.
SLC Punk. I love SLC Punk.
SLC Punk.
I love that movie.
Okay, but remember in it, the dude, and this guy was
There's Steve-O.
And what was the guy? He's like a big actor now. He did, he's in all the...
Steve-O, the guy that did Scooby-Doo.
Well, no.
He was in Scream.
That's Matthew...
yeah, he's great.
Well, let's look up the cast because the other guy, when you talk about
Oh, you're talking about the guy with the glasses.
with the pocket protector, he's like an actor and everything now.
I forgot his name. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, the guy that was like a nerd but would get like really ragey.
Yeah, he was like the wildest one, but he didn't have punk style.
Yeah.
Like he wore like
See,
a
that's the thing.
polo.
There's no.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason Segel.
Yeah.
Jason Segel was at SLC Punk, and he was always like wearing glasses and like a nerd shirt with like pens, and he was the nuttiest dude in the mosh pit. Check out that movie.
When people say there's no such thing as a punk fashion, if you do, you're stupid as fuck.
Those are my those are my 3 TV recommendations for this show. First is Jerma Baseball for me, just because I feel like artistically you're just never going to see that again. Second is Facing Nolan, because it's fucking awesome. Oh, gets my third. See? And then SLC Punk, so good.
If you're going to talk about like punk movies, SLC Punk is great. You also have to check out The Downfall of Western Civilization.
Really?
That is the movie. That is like back in, I think it came out in the 80s. But you have the Germs in there. The Germs was a legendary punk band.
The Germs. There's some good punk documentaries
Which is
coming
cool
out.
because the guy from the Germs, Pat, was
the Stooges.
Played in Nirvana.
Well, that was one I saw on Amazon. The Stooges. Wasn't that like Iggy Pop or something?
Iggy Pop, I feel like is gonna live forever. But
I don't know anything about Iggy Pop, but I've seen him a couple times. Isn't his wife like crazy young and hot or something?
I wouldn't doubt it, just because Iggy Pop is Iggy Pop. But like he's still like fit. He still has like. He's not.
Yeah, that's an aspirational physical fitness level at that age.
He's always played, I think, with no shirt. I think.
Yeah.
He's always had he's always fit. He's always had a 6-pack or.
Man.
But yeah, and so, anyway, and this dude that we're talking about, constantly like rags on new bands. But he doesn't even listen to that style of music. He's like, pop punk is so lame nowadays. Like, dude, it's okay for the genres to change, man. Let it go, you know. But he doesn't even listen to anything else but one style of music. So he's just ragging on everything. He's negative about every music. And I'm the same way. I mean, I bitch about a lot of music and a lot of bands. But, like, this dude in the scene needs to go. You know what I'm saying? And he's one of those people that thinks he's cool because he knows popular people. Oh, I know this guy. I was at the show. No one likes you. Go away.
Oh, no. I was going to do a little research on some NPB stuff, but dump on this guy some more. And
like, I'm not trying to be mean, but he's just like constantly bitching about everything and talking shit.
Yeah.
And he's always bringing up the past. Oh, punk in the 80s or 70s wouldn't have put up with this kind of shit. No, you know what happened, dude? Punks got smart and they realized being aggressive and mean towards people isn't the way to go.
The history of the punk movement is kind of interesting out of England, you know?
It just like punks got smarter.
Out of the UK there. But yeah, no, I don't know. I like the scene. I like going. I kind of want to be the Jason Segel who dresses like a nerd at this show. But there'll always be one, like especially when you're old, because I'm old. There'll always be, because I didn't really like old guys at the club, but I still kind of like want to go to the show, you know?
I'm just the same way. I want to feel weird when I'm like 50 and I'm like, dude, there's
But that's
cool
not going to stop me. Like if we can go to Destroy Orbison or something like that, you know, like I want to go, but I also know that I'm going to get effed with by at least one young dude trying to like prove a point, probably.
I mean, the shows that I've gone to, I've never really dealt with someone like that. Most people are cool. I mean, you do get a drunk guy every now and then that just wastes out of his mind just doing stupid shit, but you know, for the most part, everybody seems pretty cool. And every now and then, too, it has, like, there'd be some weird metal dude that would come in there and start flailing his arms and legs into the ground. I'm like, dude, go away. This isn't a hardcore show. But,
let's see. Well, that's, so you got the punk going. Is there any shows we're going to coming up?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't really looked. There was a band that came here from Dallas, played in Austin, like, last Saturday, but I didn't go. I was doing other things, but
we went to Manchester Orchestra.
Oh, you and your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are acquiring headphones for the children. So you just like
those big like lawnmower ones.
Muffle it, and we're hoping to do some live music again, but I don't really know.
I see bands all the time like when they have kids, they do that. They have them on the side. They'll be like in the room or something, but they'll have the giant
It's
headphones.
more for because we really want to do the ACL again, like do ACL and South
the
by
Austin City
music.
Limits.
Yeah, those are always fun, but you can't like the kid. It's too much. The kids don't know. They don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, there was there used to be. I don't know if it's still going, but there was a thing in Austin called the Fun Fest,
Yeah.
and it had a lot of different styles of bands. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm missing the Japan. I gotta check the Japan series. I will mention one thing, and I tried to watch a video on it, but they must have like weird proprietary rights in Japan. But the NPB draft is Thursday, so that's tomorrow.
So where they get their players from? Their draft pool.
I think it's like all high school dudes in Japan.
Okay.
And I don't know because we were talking about those corporate leagues,
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you can draft a
Which
guy
I think is awesome.
from logistics out of
Yeah.
the Toyota plant. If you can draft that guy,
Can I have Curl in HR because she has a sick slider?
Carol in
She has a
HR,
slick slider, and
fourth rounder,
yeah, she would.
nasty.
I mean, she's starting right away. But
So I think it might just be like high school kids, kind of like or like college kids, guys that are not under professional contract because they do have college baseball there, and you can like go nuts. So maybe you can draft those like corporate guys if you like work at, what's big in Japan? 7-Eleven.
I did not know that.
So let's see.
I will say this about 7-Eleven here in America: it's gotten a lot better over the years. It's a lot more fancier than it used to be.
Okay, so the
That's for
Japan series.
Also, shout out to the 7-Eleven around the corner from here. We've gone there quite a few times.
This is random, but nobody's watching. So the
Somebody should be watching. If not,
the 7-Eleven, however they do their corporate in Japan, there was a guy who had a franchise, and he got like sideways, like he pissed off Japanese corporate 7-Eleven or something.
yeah.
And so they like tried to put him out of business, and they put a 7-Eleven right next door. So there's like two 7-Elevens 10 feet apart because they're fighting about it.
Same company. That's funny.
Yeah, so it was funny. It was like a New York Times. It was like a New York Times story that was pretty good. So the Yakult Swallows. So Munetaka Murakami is going to be in the Japan series, and I want to say, let's see who all is up in here. I don't know. I'm not really getting but the Yakult Swallows. I'm trying to get the update. I think it's the Swallows and the Fukuoka Hawks, but I don't know. 7 hours ago. Here we go. It's the Oryx Buffaloes. Who have some really good pitching. So, yeah, the Colt Swallows, you get the home run king facing the Oryx Buffaloes. But Hanshin Tigers got swept out of the series by Yakult. And the reason that happened, Dutch?
What's that?
Curse of the Colonel.
The statue, right? There was a statue. Or
Colonel, and I was like, what could this be? It was there like some famous Japanese colonel had to research the curse of the colonel. No, we're talking about Colonel Sanders.
Good old KFC.
We're talking about the curse of Colonel Sanders. And if Japanese baseball isn't fun enough for you, which it is awesome because they still hit in the Central League, pitchers do. I will say this, side note. I have seen some pretty good bunting in the postseason so far. The Pods, Dodgers, series itself featured some pretty decent small ball, so I really like that.
Bunting matters, man.
Bunts matter, but so in NPB, the Central League did not. They don't have a DH, so the pitchers hit there. But the Hanshin Tigers lost to the Yakult Swallows in what they call the Climax Series, which is our basically ALCS, NLCS stuff. In some point, I don't know if it was like 85, but you can go like Wikipedia, the Curse of the Colonel. But KFC, just like 7-Eleven, there are these U.S. franchises there. And there's a KFC outside the stadium, and all their hoopla after winning, they tore down a Colonel Sanders statue and threw it. They threw it in it. Let's get it right here.
So was KFC like a sponsorship or something?
let's Let's see. So it was the 1985. Yeah, so it was in 1985. They threw this Colonel Sanders statue near the stadium into, let's see which river. It went into, it's important, the river gathered at the Ibisu Bridge assemblage. I can't find the river they threw it into, but it's near the stadium, and they threw a doggone Colonel Sanders statue in there. And that started the curse of the Colonel, where Hanshin can't win, can't get over the hump and win the Japan series. So they've called this the curse of the Colonel, which I think is hilarious. But then they were like dredging, because this is like kind of like city, like waterways in there. They were dredging it, and the dredge workers found the flippin' statue. They're like, oh, dude, this is the Colonel. So they pulled him up, trying to fix him up.
So this is like years later?
Yeah, this is like many, many years later. I'm trying to see. Let's see, in what year did they find that Colonel? Recovery of the statue, 2008. So this is like 95, 2000. This is like 23 years later. They found the statue. It was I can't read that. Dotonbori River. Okay, so they find it, and they're like, oh, man, this is it. Reverse the curse. They pull the statue out, but they're missing the right hand. No. They was missing some stuff, but then they found the right hand and lower body the next day, but it's still missing its glasses, because the Colonel Sanders had glasses. It's missing its glasses and its left hand. And the statue was recovered and returned to KFC, and it's now at a different restaurant, which it's at a KFC that's really close to Koshin Stadium. Koshin Stadium would be where they have the mega Japanese high school baseball tournament. So that's kind of cool that this legendary baseball statue is over by this super famous stadium. But I'm saying, and I think I tweeted this, so that's the curse of the Colonel, which I think is awesome. But there's a dude who had like tons and tons of Bitcoin, I think like on the East Coast somewhere, on a thumb drive, and then he like lost it. I'm going somewhere with this. He lost it and then like got in his trash and went into like the city landfill. He's like, it's in the city landfill somewhere. But then Bitcoin went from, whatever he had it at, to, $20 to like now they're like $20,000 of Bitcoin. He's like, dude, I have like $800 million worth of Bitcoin. Let me look through the landfill.
So can you sell your Bitcoin and get the money, or
yeah,
no?
You can exchange it into cash. So that's what he's thinking. He's like, dude, I'm a millionaire. There's so much in that landfill. There's like $800 million in that landfill. So he's like trying to talk the city into. He's like, dude, let me look for it. I have a good idea. The way you build the landfill, the way you fill it in, what year, what section it would be in. Let me get in there and rake through all that stuff. And I have metal detectors. I'll be able to find it. Like he thinks he can find this flipping Bitcoin. But I'm like, if you're a Hanshin fans, a little bit more commitment to dredging the river for the hand and the glasses, right? This dude's willing to go through a whole gross landfill for millions of dollars. Like, you
can't. Me too.
I mean, there's probably enough fans that are just like into scuba diving. You like get 20 volunteer divers. I don't know if it's metal detectors or whatever. Get some like nets with some sieves, so you can filter out the mud. Find that hand and glasses, Hanshin. That's what I'm saying.
It's there.
It's the glasses and hand are there somewhere. Just got to take the effort. Take the effort to find them. Oh, also on curses, the curse of the Bambino that the Red Sox had forever.
Mm-hmm. They didn't win a World Series in over 100 years until they finally won one.
Remember when they were constructing new Yankee Stadium, and there was like a construction worker from Boston who tried to curse the new stadium?
I hadn't heard this story.
Such a great story. This is why I love baseball. There's so many reasons to love baseball. But
what was funny was, speaking of the curses, was the GOAT one for Chicago.
Yeah.
You kick my goat out of here, you're cursed.
That's right. The curse of the goat.
To me, that's like the coolest one that I've heard of.
All the curses are great. So the curse of the Colonel is another great one.
So the Red Sox one was based off of because they traded him to the Yankees, right?
Yeah. They never won since, because they won the World Series, I think, with Babe Ruth as like a young guy on the Red Sox, and then they didn't win it again until like 2004 or whenever they broke the curse.
I remember that series. I was pulling for the Red Sox too.
Yeah,
Ortiz was on there, Johnny Damon, Kevin Euclid, I think.
It was a great team.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of dirtbags too. They're real down. I like those dudes.
And then there was I can't remember his name. he hosts a show.
Millar.
Yeah, Millar's badass.
Millar. I love Millar.
Yeah, Millar's badass.
But so the curses are great, but some Red Sox guy, I think he was like a construction worker working on the new stadium, knew where they were like pouring the cement for the like foundations for like a big part of the stadium, and he snuck inside of the cement a David Ortiz jersey.
Oh,
because Ortiz was like crazy clutch for the postseason.
Well, of course,
he was like he just carried him. It was unbelievable how awesome.
He was not a steroid taker. He's just built.
That's another people that was like saying he was using PEDs.
No, he's
well,
just built.
I don't know.
He's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
But he's always been a big dude. Even when he was with the Twins, when he was younger, he was still a.
Yeah, and he was in the Mariners organization. And they traded him to the Twins.
He just caught fire when he went to Boston,
which is crazy. I didn't realize he was in the Mariners organization. For those David Ortiz fans, he was.
Ortiz.
We didn't have him, but they found out about it, and the way I remember seeing it, I think it was on ESPN or something. They showed them pulling this. They had to chip away the cement and find the jersey because they heard about it. They heard like from another construction worker like ratted him out like, dude, there's a jersey, and then they're trying to curse the stadium. So they broke the cement away and found this jersey. You could see him like tearing it out of the concrete of New. So I don't know. Maybe it is possible that as you're tearing it out of the concrete, if you were not thorough enough, and there is a little shred of David Ortiz jersey fabric in there, that might play a factor.
Anything's
in the Yankees
possible
postseason.
at this point.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Yankees fan. I love Yankees history. I love so many Yankees players like Yogi Berra. So like we've said before, the history. You can't be a baseball fan without knowing about DiMaggio and all this awesome Yankees
That's
stuff.
why
So I don't
have
really
the one
hate
and
the
only
Yankees.
Yankee hat.
Yeah, I don't really hate the Yankees as much as some people do. But I also I'm going to keep it real for you. If you didn't think the Yankees ever cheated at any point in time,
I don't root for the Yankees, but I respect that franchise. I think it's a cool franchise. Like it's cool to see them when they do well because it's the Yankees. You know, like baseball people will tell you, like I hate that team, but like it's cool.
I can't say I hate the Yankees really,
I
can say pretty consistently, at least in my lifetime, because like I'm very nostalgic about the Mantle Yogi Berra years. I just love Yogi so much. I love that he won World Series, but in my lifetime, they've always kind of been the evil empire. So when the Red Sox beat them, I'm always kind of like rooting against the Yankees, just to be honest. But I don't really hate them.
That's why I like the Mariners so much. Just because when I was a kid, they were beasts. They had so many good players like Griffey Jr. They had Randy Johnson.
I guess growing up there, that's why I'm bitter. Bitter. I was maybe more privy to like front office stuff that they've done that just rubs me the wrong way.
Plus, they had fucking Ichiro, and that dude's great.
Yeah, they had some great. I love the dudes.
That's kind of like
Ichiro, Buhner, Griffey, Edgar.
But I think if that was my main team that I was rooting for, I would kind of be irritated. Like all those years in the late '90s that we could have done something, we just collapsed.
The Lincecum draft is their curse.
You'll never let that go, will you?
I'll never let it go because it's. Lincecum was such. I mean, everything was there for you to see. Like at University of Washington, like there wasn't like a
UW, what up?
There wasn't like a question: is he going to make it? He's throwing 99 right now, so there's not like a development period. We get input, like our sound sucks. That would be really helpful. Somebody could like text us or let us know our sound sucks. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't a question. The guy was going to be on a major league roster. Basically, either the same season you drafted him and definitely next year. So if you're like, oh, we were worried about durability.
I'll listen to the sound right now. Hold on. You keep talking.
Turned out to be true, but you knew you had these insane years before, I don't know. The guy was from Liberty High School and University of Washington. It was the ultimate. It was the ultimate, dude. It was the ultimate Mariners draft pick to have, and they flippin' blew it.
It sounds good. I was playing the video on my laptop. I think it sounds good.
Good to go. I appreciate that, buddy. So what have I covered? I forgot. We're doing good on time. We got
11:30 about.
Get to my doctor's appointment. So I've covered Curse of the Colonel, Jerma Baseball Association, Facing Nolan a little bit. Just I don't have much to say about Nolan Ryan. I do like the fact that they broke down, like, if you realize how we're clocking fastballs now, if you did that to Nolan Ryan, he throws like 108 miles an hour. But it's a really good bio piece on Nolan and takes you through his career and how petrifying it was to face the guy. So that's it. The only last segment I got, we got plenty of time to do it, and then maybe we can call Jimmy. I tease Jimmy every time, and then we don't call him for like 3 shows in a row. But is the Eddie Waitkus, the natural, and like that whole thing. It's kind of crazy.
So if never mind. I'll just do my next. I'll do my.
Yeah,
other
you do
topic
your
next
segment,
time.
and then we'll finish up with that one maybe.
So, it basically I'm irritated because like Blink-182, like they haven't broke up, but Tom came back to the band, and so band they agreed to dynamic pricing, based on demand. Prices go higher, which whatever I understand, but Ticketmaster I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So like based on the city that you're at, the prices can be outrageous. Demand whatever.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the ones in Austin, and it's like one of the highest prices for tickets is $2,000, and like the lowest, like the cheapest, like $200, which is a lot. I saw in some things, like I think it was in Chicago, some of those tickets, like for the floor seats, were almost like $2,000 a piece.
Man.
1,500, yeah, and so that's why a lot of people are like, Blink-182 is for rich people only, and like I agree. People like me can't afford to pay $1,000, $500 for a fucking ticket to go see some band that's only, and that's my other problem. They're only going to play hits. You know what I'm saying?
They're not making any new stuff?
They are, but so the bass player at one point said, I don't want to be a hit band. Like I don't want to go play shows and just play my hits. But that's exactly what you do. Because you get a lot of younger people who only know those hits, and you can't. It annoys me, I guess, as a fan of the band. That's all they ever play live is hits.
You came in the studio this morning on fire on these 2 things.
Because, like I said, punk and music is my main passion, and I know so much. And it's irritating when I see bands that make their band into a business first. Like
it's like Major League Baseball.
It's different.
Selling out.
It's different to say, "Hey, I'm in a band and I want to make money." That's fine. But when it's band, then when it's business, then band, then I got a problem, right?
Okay.
You're more concerned about you making money and yourself than everybody else who supported you over the years. But
let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
Now that you have Turnstile's perspective on those dollars that it could be going towards valuable UFO and alien television shows and research. What is this? Is it a show? Is it a foundation?
He has a company called To the Stars Media.
Yeah.
So they do all kinds of things. They produce shows, they do documentaries, it's a whole company called To the Stars Media. They do different media things.
So they just make documentaries on like maybe somebody's been abducted or something like that.
I know he's released some books. I know I think they have an academy, too, called To the Stars Academy. I'm not certain, but I think there's an academy for that. They produce shows, like I said, movies. He's made an animated show or movie or something. But so he does a lot of different things with space and aliens and all that kind of stuff.
Can I go on a little rabbit trail here on 2 things related to this alien company that he's got?
Yeah, I'm going to look up to make sure he has the academy. But you can go ahead.
First thing is, I would like, because we do have connections at Caltech now, I would like Caltech smart people to come up with the proper dimensions, because we're going to colonize Mars, right? So we're going to be living on Mars eventually. Some generations of humans will be up there. They're going to need a sport. I need to make sure the first sport we're playing on Mars is baseball, but that's going to take different dimensions. It's going to have different distances down the line, different distances between the bases, and different mound. It's going to have to change based on gravitational factors. And I need the people in Caltech to tell me what the proper dimensions of the field is going to be, how big the ball should be with weight and bats, and just figure out Mars baseball ahead of time. Before we get there, figure out. And the second one is on the alien factor is when the Greys come down and say, you guys suck at running your planet, we're in charge now, and they're all throwing us in prisons, I'm going to obviously sell out and sidle up to the aliens, with the big eyes and be like, hey dude, I'm your guy. Don't, let me help you, teach you about baseball. And then I'm going to figure out like an alien, and then they probably are going to suck at baseball, but like they're going to start throwing and playing catch and hitting and bunting, and I'll be like, dude, you aliens are good. You got it. You just got to, and I'm just going to be kind of like the personal trainer, baseball coach for the Grays.
So 2 things, real quickly.
Sorry.
It is academy still called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science.
See, arts and science.
And 2, aliens obviously exist, whether they look like aliens, what we think they look like, or they look like us. But they exist because clearly there's technology that like that's in the future that they already know. But because there's too many UFOs and shit, just say, oh, it's not real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's somebody out there that's like super hardcore smart with technology, and these smartphones that we have, like, oh, those are ancient, dude. Those are like old news, man.
Oh yeah.
Those are like those are shitty. What we have in the future is insane. Because sometimes I think we're living in a past time, and there's already a future. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like
I was looking.
There's so many things that just trip me out.
I was looking at like this theory of we have multiple dimensions. You know, it was like we have right now we have 3-dimensional. Like I can make a 3-dimensional art. People think like the 4th dimension is time. And then I thought I read or heard something. There's like, well, there's infinite dimensions splitting off at any moment in time. There's infinite dimensions. But then I was like looking at the research they came off, and this is kind of where scientists crack me up. The Higgs boson and whatever, the CERN super collider in France, they are smashing particles together at extremely high speeds of rates of speed, and then looking at that data, and that's where they came up with this Higgs boson particle. And I don't know anything about that, but I thought it was hilarious. The article,
is that the so-called God particle?
I guess they think they know more about the universe, or they can theorize more about the universe based on it, and they go, well, there isn't. Like we think we have 3 dimensions. The 4th dimension is time, and it makes sense. Just like we think there's other universes and other species like aliens out there. They go, there's obviously stuff we don't know, so we think there's other dimensions we're not aware of that show us what our position is in time space. But they arrived at 10 dimensions, which I thought was an interestingly perfect round number. And then the article goes to describe what they think the 5th dimension is, and the 6th dimension is, and these other dimensions, and the 10th dimension.
Because there's clearly shit behind the sun that goes that way, and then there's shit behind Pluto that goes that way. You know what I'm saying?
I don't really know how it all works, but apparently
it's crazy.
We're dealing with 10 dimensions. We only know 3 of them. But that's good. We're batting like 300, maybe 400.
I'll take it.
We're the 400. That's where 400 hitters in the Dimension League. But here's another thought I had, and I have to get them out, because then I'll forget, and I don't write. I try to write my stuff down, but check this out. Here's the ultimate cheat. You want to talk about PEDs? You want to talk about, picking signs? This is next level shit right here, Dutch. It's my fourth cuss word today.
Am I ready for it or no?
You're not ready for it. This is going to take some science. This is going to happen in about 20 years. So, and this is a whole nother UFO show. Because I like how you start talking. I'm sorry I jumped off on the Tom thing and his whole star.
No, he's like that too, because he's worked with the government, and he like released these UFO documents or alien documents. Like, I like what he's doing. Like, I'm not hating on the guy. I'm just saying the Blink-182 to him is just a cash cow.
I can rabbit hole too hard on UFOs, so you got to pump the brakes. But here's my last one related to baseball. So there's like, and I think maybe these scientists know about that, but part of the reason they think like these spaceships are like the Navy heads-up display that caught those alien spaceships were like, dude, that thing's going like 21 knots sideways into the wind. That's impossible, or whatever. Like, how do these ships propel themselves? Because they're not using gasoline. The theory is there's this gravitational particle that's really small, and it's inside the middle of the ship, and so you can just like tilt the particle if you can control it, and then it's like gravitationally the ship is just falling forward to catch up with that particle.
So it's kind of like a magnet, I guess?
Yeah, it's just moving itself by manipulating this gravitational particle that doesn't really get affected by the Earth's gravity. So they just move the particle around the ship, and you're tipping the ship, and like you want to go really fast, you just tip that particle way forward, and it goes zip, like,
well, I mean, there's obviously magnetic pulls on Earth, right? So that would make sense.
I forget what it was called. It had a funny name. It was like, the theory is like particle 121.
We'll call it the monsoon effect or something. I don't know. But it like, there's a lot of shit that's like, you start thinking, you're like, dude, what is this shit? Like, are we the Matrix? Like, people say that's a theory too.
Yeah, that could be. I like my version of the Matrix.
I'm slightly.
Other than the Matrix programmed in the universal DH, what the F, man?
So if we are the Matrix, if you put in like a cheat code to just give like to put like 6 figures in my bank account, that'd be cool. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
What if we blow up? What if like somebody sees us and like, dude, they're talking about particles in baseball. I love it.
and they're gonna tell their future buddies, hey, dude, you listen to this. Like these are the one humans on Earth right now that actually make sense.
So here's the deal that I'm thinking the new future cheat is. Once you figure out these particles, you rub some of them on your bat. So when you hit that ball, it takes off in the other direction with some of these gravitational particles, just pulling it out of the.
But they can't detect it, right? We don't have technology.
It's too small.
They can't detect the particle. So imagine being a pitcher, like, oh, you think 105 is fast? Hold up, and
Yep.
and you do it just enough to where it's like 120, 130, right?
Yep.
So they're like, holy
Higgs
shit.
boson, particle 121, sixth dimension cheats are the future of baseball.
You know,
That's. I'm sorry, buddy.
we're like,
That's the way my brain works. You say something and I just go. Pew.
I think that's interesting, and I could talk about that all day. Just it's cool to hear different theories and different people's takes on it. Like I used to watch this. I haven't watched it in a while, but on History Channel, that alien show, I used to love watching that show.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting because you're like, they start giving facts and start showing this proof and stuff they found. You're like, fuck, like what is going on?
That's crazy.
Like, you know, like what's behind the sun? Like, is there a dimension behind that? Obviously there is. What's that look like? You know, is there a whole set of creatures and people back? You know, because what if there's another sun somewhere that we can't tell? Like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that it's amazing to think about. I think this is probably what a lot of baseball players think about. You don't just think about like launch angles and stats. That's why I like our show because
Yeah.
like I don't really talk about that too much. I'd rather talk about the curse of the Colonel in alien
'Cause
particles.
there's so many shows that do that. We'll see the velocity level of his swing causes the. I don't care.
This is more existential. This is more
Yeah.
theoretical, existential baseball show
These are just two dudes who love baseball talking about it, and we're
and music. I love the music takes because I want to go to a show with you so bad right now.
not. I'm trying. I've been looking.
Find us a show that I can work around
It would
children.
probably be
because I could probably get a hall pass on a Thursday night.
hey, I'll be back. And I don't drink like I used to at shows, so you don't have to worry about trying to deal with the drunk guy. So,
Yeah.
but there's always like they're mainly in Austin because a few bands don't come to San Antonio really.
Sweet auditions still going.
They do come to San Antonio, but mainly most of the time they're in Austin.
I like it.
Every now and then we'll get a cool little show in San Antonio, but
What's your favorite band that you, besides Blink 182, that you want to go see?
that I haven't seen
Yeah.
like ever, or just haven't seen in a long
Well,
time.
no, like shows coming up in the area that you want to like check out, like if they're local San Antonio dudes.
Shit, dude, I would love to go see Destroy Orbison. Honestly, I've never seen
I
them.
love their stuff when we review it.
I've discovered them like earlier this year, and
Nice.
like all these are from here. I forgot who told me about. Oh, you know what? My friend in San Diego told me about it. He goes, hey, dude, there's this cool local band in San Antonio, and so I checked them out. So,
You know, people can't see. They can't see our little pumpkin.
but I think that as far as like local bands go, that's who I want to see the most.
Yeah.
Would be Destroy Orbison.
We got to do that. Little mini doc on them. Documentary.
I would love to see like other bands I love. Like I haven't seen Banner Pilot play in a long time, but they don't really play anymore. But yeah, there's
But some good reviews on those guys too. I like the stuff you brought in.
I think it's cool because a lot Banner Pilot, like they're all like smart dudes in that band, so their songs are like poetry. So they're doing other things, and it like sucks because like they're an awesome band.
Yeah.
But the other guy, the bass player, is doing other music stuff. But it's just hard sometimes when you realize people in bands are adults and that's not their career. And it's like, damn it.
Oh, man.
But they're from I think Minnesota, so they would never come to
Naked
Texas.
Bats. Let's put up our Naked Bat
Yeah.
thing. Naked Bats is from Minnesota.
I've seen Banner Pilot play in Texas. I also see him in Florida. But anyway.
Let's get Naked Bats up there.
And I would love to have a band again because I
Show
think
some love to
playing
those
music is
guys.
fucking great. But
Yeah, I think that'd be a blast.
like, you can learn power chords on guitar. It's pretty simple. You learn some
I
cool
suck at
riffs.
Rock Band, I'll tell you that. We got that for the kids. We
I-
don't play
it was fun. I played it a few times. We used to have Guitar Hero. I had Rock Band too, on the Xbox.
That's how Post Malone learned to play guitar. He did that first and then got a guitar.
Which was crazy because he used to there's some videos on the internet of him before he got famous. He had his acoustic guitar and he was just. He did a badass stream where they covered some Nirvana songs and he was like.
Tarrant County Community College, respect it.
Didn't he grow up in Dallas or somewhere?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
His dad does all the concessions for the Death Star for
Have you
Jerry
ever-
Jones and like the Cowboys. That's why he's always talking about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Have you ever watched any interviews with him?
Yeah, he's an interesting
He's
kid.
the nicest dude ever. So he was like, I was watching this like interview, like this podcast interview thing with him, and one of the guys like he had a beer and he took his beer and got a new one. He goes, "Thank you for taking that for me."
I think he was raised right because
Yeah, he
his
was super
dad,
nice.
his dad is a hard-working guy, and he still, I think, works for the Cowboys, doing like managing their concessions.
Yeah.
And then you see like the little townhome that Post Malone was raised in, like in Irving or wherever it is. Like I think they're up. What's the other Frisco or some shit?
There's Irving, there's Frisco, there's Plano.
Whatever. He was like there in
somewhere
the
there.
Metroplex. So just normal
Allen.
Metroplex kid like yourself, and taught himself music and just got really good. As we know, the sound is crazy hard. So like,
He writes some jams.
I mean, I think he completely self-produced White Iverson, which was like the first one
That's
to kind of
crazy.
like
You know that
blow.
song? That's
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, but I mean that song when you
Yeah.
listen to it, just the mastering, like to get all those like layers, as like, dude, that's pretty talented because like most like 20-year-old kids can't do that in the software.
I think that was
so-
like a lot of people's introduction to him because that was like his big hit, like his first big
that was
hit.
the first song I ever heard of his. That's why I mentioned
It was on the
on-
side one time on YouTube for like recommended because I was listening to like a hip hop playlist and it was on the side. And I checked it out. I was like, oh, this guy's cool.
But then
I'm not
like
like-
dudes are trying to hate on him because he's a white rapper, and then he like puts that in his song. And I was like, once you kind of like look at him now, it's like, dude, he does. He just seems like a nice kid.
He's not a. I don't consider him a rapper though. He does because he does
He's a
different
musician.
things. Yeah.
Is what he is, man.
He's not. He doesn't rap. There's no rap. He's not like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
more of a. He's an artist. He's
if
not.
you
a
like
rapper.
music, I'm sure you're bound to like a number of that dude's songs. But
I need to send you this song by this band
I
called.
like that he dropped out of community college. Though. I love that.
That's crazy. He's like, I'm doing this music.
Well,
thing.
that I've been to the campus and seen the campus. Also, randomly, again, I'm sorry, bud. Radio Shack is like headquartered in Fort Worth or something.
I didn't know they were still around. I thought
Exactly.
I thought that company like completely like literally like shut down like, because I remember in Dallas, I think it was in Plano, McKinney. There was a Radio Shack on the corner of the shopping center I used to go to. And right, like I think a couple years before I moved here, it completely shut down. They sold everything.
It's weird. So here's the two things about Radio Shack. I think they were headquartered in Fort Worth. That's their big thing, but then they sold that building to Tarrant County Community College because TCC
Tarrant
TCC was trying to like put a bunch of stuff right on the Trinity River. And if you're producing superstars, and like I consider it, even though he dropped out, it's like that's hilarious. He went to TCC, but then Radio Shack went insane on Twitter. There is like if you want to follow something nuts on Twitter, follow Radio Shack. They tweet like sexually offensive innuendo stuff now.
So I wonder if that's like a fake Radio Shack account.
I know it's the real one. It has like it gets tons of follows because it doesn't make sense what radio. Like I don't know if they're gonna pivot like Netflix and all of a sudden we're all using Radio Shack again, but
'Cause maybe
something weird going on.
Maybe Radio Shack company itself, like there's no buildings or there's no stores, but they still are technically an active company. They just
Yeah.
don't have any product.
I think they might be trying to pull off some kind of like Netflix pivot from. Anyway, I digress.
I remember going in there though, and it was always shitty. Like they really didn't have a whole
It's
lot.
like transistors and stuff I didn't understand, but
Transistor radio.
transistors and resistors and I don't know.
Wrist
But
flippers.
let's get into Eddie Waitkus.
It is 11:45. So.
I can do this in 10 minutes and then we can outro.
All right.
All right, so check this out. Everybody like that's kind of like a baseball nut. It's an age thing too because there's like young people aren't gonna know what the Natural is, but that shit was the bomb in the 80s. And Robert Redford comes up. He's got like a bullet still in his body and he's bleeding. It's the end of his career because he's like a 40-year-old fucking rookie and he just rakes bombs. It's a cool movie. And then he had this bat that was like made out of this like lightning struck tree or whatever, and it finally that bat broke. And then his bat boy gets him the Savoy Special, and he hits this game-winning home run, and it goes into the lights of the stadium and smashes a light, and that like shorts the circuit, and then all the lights explode and are shooting sparks on the field as he's rounding the bases, and it's this crazy, cool. And I had to read the book The Natural in school, but it was for my mythology class. It was for mythology, and it's kind of like this. It is.
This was in college. You read it?
I think I read it in high school. I can't remember where, but I read the book. In the book, he strikes out in the end. It ends. This Bernard Malmud was the author. That's another, like, I digress. But he wrote a book that he got really famous for, and everybody says, dude, it wasn't The Natural, it's a different book, like in the 60s. And it's like, dude, you 100% plagiarized that book. But I think he straight up wrote The Natural was not plagiarized, and he wrote this book, and it's this mythological thing about this baseball player who gets shot, and then he comes up, and he's just this natural athlete hitting all these home runs, and the owner is crooked, and all these people are trying to take him down, and at the very end, they do take him down, he strikes out. So Hollywood took that, and it's like, well, that's pretty great book, but man, what a horrible ending. You suck at writing endings. Let's have him actually hit the dinger. So that's the movie and the book. But that is based on an actual real-life event. I don't know if Bernard Melmoth ever confirmed that, but he wrote the book after this incident happened with a ball player named Eddie Waitkus. And Eddie Waitkus is from Cambridge, Massachusetts. And he, from Lithuanian stock, by the way, shout out Lithuania, was awesome. He could rake. He was a good ball player. But the one thing about Waitkus, like, he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer if you looked at his career. And, of course, he's known for this because it was such a crazy thing that happened to him. But what he should be known for is that he was an awesome fielding first baseman. The dude was like a ballerina over there. Just could make all the plays, all the stretches. You weren't. If you were a lefty and you thought you were going to pull something down the line first place, Eddie Waitkus was going to glove that. He was gloving everything. Dude was like a straight-up gold glover. He's like one of the best fielding first basemen everybody ever played for. Was like, dude, the guy's a difference maker at first base, just fielding. But he could hit pretty good, too. And he started out with the Cubs. And when he was with the Cubs, this was like, I got to go pull his baseball reference. I think it was like in the 50s. There's this young Chicago gal, Ruth Ann Steinhagen, if I can read her name right. Ruth Ann Steinhagen was infatuated with Waitkus as a player. They were like, she was just like had a shrine to him in her house. She would set the table. So yeah, I'm sorry, this is a 40. So like 46, 47, 48. He played with the Cubs, then got traded to the Phillies. And he was part of the Whiz Kids. And I think that was after the Whiz Kids were like the 1950 Phillies. Remember we like did our little sketch when we were talking about Del Ennis had 126 RBIs in 1950. He played for the Phillies. Like, they were awesome. They had Richie Ashburn. That was like a really good team, and they had Eddie Waitkus on them.
I'm never going to not be able to not laugh when I hear Del Ennis now.
Del Ennis. Delmer Ennis. But anyway, he played with Eddie Waitkus on the Phillies. But before he got traded to the Phillies, he was on the Cubs, and this 19-year-old girl, Ruth Ann Steinhagen, was nuts for him. Absolutely nuts. And she had a shrine in her house that she built. She kept all the newspaper clippings. She'd go to the stadiums, I think, sometimes and check them out. And this is a mental health thing. Like, she's not – and her family actually took her to a shrink, said, like, something's up. She's like –
crazy.
She's setting a table. She's setting a table for him at dinner table. Won't let anybody sit there because that's for Eddie. So they knew they were dealing with some issues, and they were trying to resolve it. They didn't really – realize it would resort to violence, but she goes and this is, and I'm trying to find, because I looked up the building is still there.
Like the room where they
yeah, like
up?
you can still, like, it's apartments now. If I'm trying to find,
so is this room like historical or anything?
I want to go see it. It's pretty near. It would make sense if you were playing at Wrigley. It would make sense if you're playing at Wrigley, but let's see here. Lure him to the hotel room at the Edgewater Beach Hotel. And I don't think the Edgewater Beach Hotel in Chicago is now like Edgewater Beach Apartments. This is a sweet location, and it's a really, really big building. So
that'd be a cool documentary.
He's on Philly, and he comes back, and this whole incident happened in 1950, if I'm not mistaken. So this is like... Let me back up here. I apologize, folks. So whatever it was 1950. This is 1949 or 50. But he's in Chicago from Philly because he got traded to the Philadelphia now, and he's hanging out with some buddies because they're like, let's go grab some beers. And he goes, and the front desk says, hey, dude, you got a little note. And it says it's from Ruth Ann Burns. So she changed the last name. And she wrote, it's extremely important that I see you as soon as possible. We're not acquainted, but I have something of importance to speak to you about. I think it would be to your advantage to let me explain it to you. The note concluded by saying, please come soon. I won't take much of your time. And
Yeah,
it said, and he asked the front desk, who is the room registered to? And they said it's registered to Ruth Ann Burns from Portland Street in Boston. Now, this is kind of a crazy stalker detail. Like, I don't know if Ruth Ann Burns put that in there, but Eddie Waitkus was from Cambridge in Boston, and he knew people, he'd grown up on Portland Street. And so it was a weird note for him to get because he's like out like hanging out with his buddies. And so he's like, he got the note and he didn't go right away. He like went down, like met his buddies at the bar, and he's like, dude, I got this weird note. And he tells them about it, tells them what it says, and they kind of discuss it. They're like, well, I don't know, man. What do you think? And he's like, well, it's weird that it's from Portland Street. And they're like, well, maybe it's like a friend of your family and like something happened. They need some help. And the only reason he went up to the room was because of that, because he inquired as to, where it was from. Like he might not have gone if she just put she was from Chicago. He's like, I don't know, another groupie or something trying to get me or whatever it was. But he's like, because it was from a person he didn't know but was from his hometown. He's like, I better investigate. It might be like a family thing I need to help with. So he messes around. Then he goes up to the room at 11:30 at night. She opens the door. In reality, it's this Ruth Ann Steinhagen of Chicago appeared, like he comes in.
Chicago. And
she comes from behind the door after he's in there brandishing a .22 caliber rifle.
Oof.
And he
That's
goes,
terrifying.
and this is what she says. She goes, because everybody lived, so we know what they said. She goes, I have a surprise for you. You're not going to bother me anymore. What? That's some horror movie stuff right there.
Like, when was I ever bothering you? I don't even know you.
Waitkus stiffened up. He was like, what's going on here? Is this some kind of joke? What have I done? And she answered by shooting Waitkus in the abdomen. And Eddie slumped down on the floor and said over and over, oh, baby, why did you do that? Also, I just need to give full reference. This is Saber. This is the Saber bio. I'm not this smart on research. Let's give props whoever did the Saber bio, did all the work for me. So he slumps over. The crazy thing about the story, and I think I found this in her Wikipedia. I think this was in her Wikipedia, and maybe not in the Saber bio, but by Paul Rogers. C. Paul Rogers III. Thank you. Very well done, Eddie Waitkus bio. But she went to the hospital the next day. I think probably the cops brought her in for identification. But she was a troubled young lady, and it's also it's like this sort of like baseball Annie. There's like a phrase called the baseball Annie, who are these like stalkers of baseball players. That phrase comes from this incident, and I'm not sure if this is why Annie was the name of the gal in Bull Durham. There may have been some connections there, but she went to trial, obviously, for like attempted murder, what have you, and was not fit to stand trial. Went into a mental institution, did about like 2 years. It wasn't that long. It was like 2 or 3 years, and she was out, never heard from again. Somebody, like the research for this article, they tried to find, and I can't remember if it was this or the Wikipedia on Steinhagen, but they're like, we tried to find like by her social security number where she worked or if she worked for anybody or whatever she did after this incident. And there's like no record of her life. And then they found like her sister and like other people in neighborhoods, like, yeah, she had a job. She just like worked for some like office job, and they just paid her cash. She wasn't really on the books. Yeah, this makes sense. It's like old times or whatever. So she just did that. She never married. She never did anything. She like lived with her folks and then like moved into this house, and never heard from again. But I guess the mental institution helped her cope. And then Waitkus was like, troubled young girl. I'm not really pressing charges. So like the criminal thing just like never happened. She shot him. And it took like a lot of surgeries. It was like 4 surgeries, but he played like 3 or 4 months. I don't know how many months it was, but that was like in the middle of the playoff run, in 1950. So
it's a long time ago.
Yeah, so it was he was key in the playoff run for the Whiz Kids in 1950.
Well, because of her, she got something named after her. So
Nothing short of miraculous. Yeah, he was in the starting lineup playing first base, batting third against the Brooklyn Dodgers opening day for 1950. And he went 3 for 5. But it was a hard comeback, and it probably did affect him. And he kind of died young with some issues. And he also had some issues because the incident was real traumatic on him. But that's, for all you baseball fans, The Natural from Bernard Malmo turned into the famous Robert Redford film based on Eddie Waitkus, by all accounts an outstanding Major League Baseball first baseman. So there you go. And I did it. I knocked it out. How many minutes was that? See? I did it.
10.
Exactly 10.
I was like, I don't know if he can do it because he loves to chat.
I love to talk smack. But isn't that crazy? It's a crazy story. Just shot him. Come on up to my room. You're not gonna bother me anymore.
I think if that was me from that point forward, I would never meet someone that I don't know. Or not like that. Maybe like if you want to meet me in a public place, sure, but like in a room,
I don't know. Like chicks liked Waitkus. Apparently he was a snappy dresser. I remember that in the bio.
What was his name?
Eddie Waitkus.
Eddie Wade. I thought you said Wade.
Waitkus. Waitkus. He was a pretty good hitter too. Let's look at his numbers. I mean, the dude hit 304 in 46, 292, 295, 306, 284, 257. I mean, you wanted him for his glove. He was an all-star a couple years. 257. He's a lifetime 285 hitter. Didn't have much power.
Oh, I see this
A
guy.
little bit of a doubles guy. 27, but
it's like he looks like a nice little guy. Hey, how you doing there?
Yep.
I don't know where he's from. Oh, he's from Boston, so he wouldn't sound like that.
So that's the background on the dude, The Natural. I don't know what else we got. Do we need to go out with some old ragtime, or do we cover all the ground we want to cover?
You know what? I think we can go out with some D-Town Boogie. I don't know why I keep saying that.
D-Town. Which was the one we had for the intro? We had like
I think we had 5 maybe.
This one. Or you want to do the Dallas Rag?
Yeah, Yeah, that was the one we had.
There we go. There's the Dallas Rag. A little ragtime. I don't know if Eddie Waitkus was listening to this
was
one
it ragtime
before he
like in
went
the
up.
20s or something, 30s?
Yeah, the Roaring 20s, I think, was
Yeah.
the thing back when the old Black Sox were fixing games because they hated Charlie Kaminsky.
I still feel that Shoeless Joe Jackson got fucked in that whole thing. Because according to him, he didn't do anything wrong.
No, he hit pretty good. That's what they say.
That it wasn't him that.
And then Bucky Leonard, or not Buck Leonard, the other guy. I'm not up to verse. My Alzheimer's kicking up. But what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, baseball terminology. If you watch Facing Nolan, you know everybody calls Homer's tanks and nukes now. Back in the day, it was bombs and dongs and ding-dongs and taters. So it kind of changes. But when you watch the...
I just call them dingers and home runs.
Dingers. Coach Kent Murphy. But when you watch the... and I kind of forget this,
Dinger
but
Derby.
when you watch the Facing Nolan, they constantly refer to his huge curveball as Uncle Charlie.
Ooh.
And I remember hearing that, but you don't hear that much. Then it's like the deuce, the breaking ball, but old Uncle Charlie. It's a nice little terminology for the curveball. And Nolan had a nasty one. And but that's a great documentary. It's like, if you had Uncle Charlie working, forget about him, man. You hit Nolan today. If you had both pitches working,
He's like, I'm coming to the game and bringing Charlie with me. Oh, shit.
Yeah. But it was kind of crazy. He got drafted out of high school. He weighed like 140 pounds. 145 pounds. He's a skinny dude, but he just had
He's like McKenzie from the Guardians.
just threw so
Little
hard.
dude.
Just threw so hard. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. Hopefully all our efforts in trying to get reach so people can find us and enjoy 3BGB.
We do exist. We do put stuff out.
Dutch is making great content. He's a great actor. We're working on some more short film stuff. Shout out to
Did you see that thing I posted last night with me smoking that cigarette?
Coach Tony Perez. You're smoking a cigarette? Did you put it up?
It's on Twitter.
Oh, it's not on the...
Yeah,
That's what you gotta do.
So I bought these prop cigarettes. They're herbal cigarettes. So there's like no tobacco and no nicotine in them.
Let me text the wife. Let her know I'm coming in like 1 minute.
She's probably like, "Where are you, man?"
Yep. All right. Let me text her. All right.
'Cause what time is the appointment?
Yep. Here in about 45.
Okay. But you
Be
got
there
a private jet,
in
so you
5.
you can fly there.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Check out all the stuff we talked about. Go back, comment. Please subscribe. Apparently that helps.
And if you want to get on the show, like, fucking
Call in Jimmy, me Corazon. Campbell got
get a hold
effed
of
again.
us somehow. There's tons
Got
of ways to get a hold of us.
cornholed again.
Poor guy. He's like, man, it's not fair.
Honestly, what I might want to do with Jimmy, I want to have him set up his own studio, and then it's just like John Boy. It's like this amalgamation of different content makers. Because Jimmy, in his own right, should have a show.
Well, he's like Mr. Cashflow. He could build a whole brand new studio.
Jimmy Campbell is the most gregarious, wonderful person in the entire world.
I'm gonna start calling the dude Cashflow.
They'll probably never be on the show again because we're too effed up to get it organized and call him. But we got to do that.
Well, today we were kind of on a little time crunch.
Just got to make the Jimmy Campbell show because we got Lubbock Christian materializing here with Coach Tony Perez and the River Monsters. All right, officially, I got to go. Thanks,
right,
buddy. Dutch Chattahoochee for
Yes,
Dutch
sir.
Chattahoochee. T-Texas Tony Turnstile, and we are signing out. Till next time. Whoop. Got to hit end stream, apparently. Is that one thing you got to do?